political arena. Now, today we are discussing about Chronicles of Wamuchomba politics. Welcome. Now, Gathoni Wamuchomba worked in local media stations before shifting into politics for the very first time in 2017 under Jubilee Party ticket as the second women rep for the county of Kiambu. She hit the headline for the first time on a wrong footing when she said that members of parliament must be paid well, a statement which didn't sink well with many Kenyans. Hence, she had to appear in media stations severally to just clear the air on the same. In 2018, when Uhuru and Raila came together under the famous handshake, Jubilee cracks started showing up between Uhuru Kenyatta, the party leader, and the then Deputy President William Ruto. However, Gathoni Wamuchomba stuck with Uhuru until the very few months where she shifted her loyalty to then Deputy President William Ruto, who started campaigns early and especially in Mount Kenya, where he made several trips and became so powerful and popular. Gathoni realized that the Mount Kenya ground where she comes from, and particularly in Kiambu, that the ground had actually shifted against Uhuru, and this time in favor of William Ruto. In 2020, she was elected as Githunguri Member of Parliament, beating the incumbent Kago Walidia, who was vying under Jubilee, while Gathoni herself was vying on a UDA ticket. Barely 1 year as an MP, she started criticizing William Ruto, even at some point Gachagua told her off. She was the first MP under UDA to fall out with William Ruto, if you recall. According to her, William Ruto didn't honor some of the promises he made to the good people of Githunguri. In 2024, she won the hearts of many Kenyans when she publicly refused to support the finance bill, which had actually led to Gen Z uprising, if you recall. Month later, a motion of no confidence brought into Parliament. This motion didn't go well with many Mauritanians. This motion was actually about Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment. She rejected it in Parliament and even outside, and this made her become a darling to many people of the mountain. Rigathi Gachagua was finally impeached, and we can all recall how Gathoni Wamuchomba was actually crying publicly simply because she felt whatever happened to Rigathi Gachagua was so unfair. After impeachment, Wamuchomba and Gachagua, they were actually besties. They were every other day, they were together, moving together in rallies, in churches, everywhere. They were all over together. And even in media station, you could see Gathoni Wamuchomba defending Rigathi Gachagua as his brother throughout. But just before the DCP party was launched, they were no more together. Honestly, just before, if you recall, just before, days before, or weeks before the party was actually launched, they were no more together. And during the day of launching, Gathoni Wamuchomba never showed up. She didn't show up for the launching of DCP party. And this is what actually made so many people to start opening their eyes concerning the same. So, and at the same time, once this was done, then she appeared on NTV this particular day, I can remember so well. And some of the remarks she made publicly, I was like, what is going on with Gathoni actually? She started saying that Rigathi Gachagua should start going to other areas so as not to look as tribal. So for her, he should stop concentrating on Mount Kenya alone. Days later, she was seen somewhere in Kisii County together with Simba Arati, the governor for Kisii. And this one, she said it on development, but this was a political statement she was making. She was making a political statement, if you ask me. 4 days later, then again, I saw her with Matiangi. I saw her the Matiangi in churches. I think she was also with Matiangi in Kisi or something like that. Chronicles of Wamuchomba. That is what we are talking about. After that, she's now shift to another camp with Edwin Sifuna, with the likes of Babu Owino, and all the other guys who they are sort of forming something together. We've seen them go to Western. I have seen them in Kiambu. I've also seen them in so many other areas. Whatever they are cooking, we have no idea. And for sure they criticize the government, but for her particularly, she criticized the president and also the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. And later, in fact, the latest post she made, that is what sort of you put the final nail on the coffin, if I may call it so. Kingpin of Mount Kenya is one former president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And she's also said that Kiambu is not a colony of Nyeri. So in this case, she was sort of referring to the former deputy president. And my question is, she knows very well how the mountain doesn't actually forgive. Right now, the person who people are actually listening to is Rigathi Gachagua. If you speak ill of him, even if you do so many projects, even if you're performing, do you think you have a chance to get back to, your seat? I think it's only time will tell. And whatever she's doing with the likes of Sifuna, it is only time will tell. Kindly let me know what you think on the comment section. Thanks a lot.